All right, welcome to the Armageddon Hoops podcast. This is episode, believe it or not, actually, past couple weeks I've actually made a mistake. This is episode 57. Um, and I think part of the reason is because I have missed the past couple weeks on my numbers. So as per usual, I am joined by Matt and John Driscoll, my two brothers. And I think part of the reason why I messed up is because I haven't organized, not even organized. I just haven't given a shout out to each number. So I haven't done that since episode 53. So 53 was the episode of Mark Eaton and Artis Gilmore. 54 was the episode of Bobby Wagner of the Legion of Boom Seahawks and Horace Grant. 55 was Dikembe Mutombo and Hideki Matsui. And last week, episode 56 was Lawrence Taylor. I said last week that it was the episode of Johan Santana, however that would be this week's episode. So apologies to John and Matt specifically, but apologies to everyone else for not getting the numbers mixed up. So in the future, starting next week, episode 58, we will have numbers in order. However, it is getting harder and harder to come up with numbers, obviously. Okay.
I'm looking forward to the Antonio Pierce episode next week. All I gotta say.
Yeah, maybe we'll have JC on for that episode then.
JC's listening in. He would have been proud of that poll.
He would have been. So, all right. So, anyway, first, before I mention anything else, shout out to our mother for buying me another merchandise item for the Armageddon Hoops podcast. She bought me this little fuzz for the mic. I don't know how much it works, but I guess I'll figure that out when I do the review after the show.
You sound so clear right now.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. Okay. But anyway, hope everyone watching had a Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great day with your families. We sure did. Did a lot of driving yesterday. However, it was great to see both sides of the family. We're definitely very happy about that. And yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like one thing it's funny seeing us as we get older is, as much as we still care about basketball, unfortunately basketball on Christmas Day has become less and less of a priority of ours, because obviously we see our family less and less as we get older, so we want to spend more time with them, and we're just not as focused on the games at all. Usually we're locked in for all 5 games for the entire day, and we just didn't have that this year. So the plan was initially for us to do this at 12, but however, I really wanted to make sure that I had some notes down before, because we all wanted to go home, pass out, and then I wanted to do research this morning, so that's what I ended up doing. But is what it is. I know John's probably the most exhausted out of all of us because he did all the driving yesterday. John, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I got to sleep in a lot this morning, which was great. Thank you for gracing us with that the additional 2 hours. I got to I don't remember the last time I slept in until like 11 or 11:30, but it felt great. And I managed to sneak off to the gym right before this and get some tacos afterwards. So if you see me nibbling on some chips here, that's what that is. But feeling good, ready to talk some hoops.
Wonderful. All right. So simple episode today. One thing I forgot to mention is that we are also we're recording this a little bit earlier. We usually do this at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. We were doing it at 2 o'clock today. Luckily, all of us have off from work today, or I have off from work today. I don't know if these two took off because it's the the holiday, but we got those two, and then so we're gonna be talking about Christmas Day hoops. And then after that, we're gonna be, since it is likely pending an emergency podcast episode, which I'm assuming we won't have one of those, but however, that's the point of emergencies, that you don't expect it when it's happening. But pending an emergency podcast episode, this will be the last episode of the 2024 year, which is wild. It's been nearly a year since we fall under the Sports Fluent Media, which But one more thing, I keep on saying one more thing, but actually one more thing. John and Matt, happy anniversary to you guys. This is today's the 1 year anniversary of the first time recording an All-American Hoops podcast with me. Actually, it was the day after Christmas last year. This is the
no way.
Isn't that wild? Yeah,
very cool.
Wild, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we got one comment already. Drew. Drew. We're gonna fade on the Celtics Sixers game for a little bit. We're gonna go in chronological order, and not in order of games we're most upset at.
The Celtics played yesterday. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. They might as well have heavens, but first we'll actually talk about the Knicks beating the Spurs, which it's funny because I'm one I'm one who said, and I kind of quoted this from Joe Star Jokic, is that we said that there's really no reason why the NBA shouldn't be able to just completely scramble some of these games, like like a couple weeks before Christmas, to have these teams play on Christmas, like the teams that people want to see. And we just looked a couple weeks ago. We're like, holy crap, this slate sucks. So, but yeah, yesterday we had some pretty awesome basketball play yesterday, and we're looking forward to talking about it actually. So yeah, the Knicks beat the Spurs yesterday and came down to the wire. And we saw some awesome hoops being played in that game. I'm someone who's been very critical of both of these teams. Not really the Spurs star player, but more specifically the team. I just really don't believe in the team at all, and I still really don't believe in the team. But it seems like that I severely underestimated Wemby's ability to carry. So, yeah, Matt, any takeaways on this game specifically?
Yeah, so before I get into this game specifically, I want to touch on your take about the slate. Like, I thought this slate was going to stink, I was like, why are the Spurs playing the Knicks? Like, I get it's Wemby and MSG, but it's kind of random. Like, I don't understand it. But there were 5 really, really good games yesterday. So hats off to the NBA. They murdered the NFL. I didn't watch a second of any NFL game yesterday. It was only really NBA games on. But the game in general, I mean, it was a really great game to start off. We were driving to our uncle's in Manhattan while it was going on, so I was watching it on my phone. But I am truly astonished about how good Wembanyama is already. Like, I know you wanted to, Chris, as in you wanted to see more results from him. And I was like, yeah, I guess so too. Like, before I start putting him in these top 10 conversations, I don't think he's in the top 10 yet, but he is very close. I've never seen anybody come into league and take over this easily, and to do it at 7-5, and he was 6-16 from 3 yesterday, but all of his threes seem to be timely. It's truly unbelievable how good he is. And to touch on the Knicks, Knicks have been playing very, very good. Their defense has improved from the beginning of the season. And the pickup of Karl-Anthony Towns is unbelievable. I can't believe Dean Hanrahan told me that Julius Randle was better than Karl-Anthony Towns all the last year. He has truly unlocked this offense. There's so much more room to do more things. And the addition of Karl-Anthony Towns has made players like Josh Hart way better. Josh Hart play style is get in transition, get to the hole. He's way better with more space, as everybody is, but they truly have unlocked something with their offense. It's great to watch.
Yeah, just to echo what Matt said, I think the Knicks coming into the season, even before the Julius Randle trade, I thought they were the number one contender for the Celtics out of the East. And then I still don't understand that trade for the Timberwolves at all. They were, a breath away from the NBA Finals or contending for a Finals last year. And then you trade probably your second best offensive weapon. Third best, however, it's second best, I think Karl-Anthony Towns we've all been big cat guys for a while. Yeah, you can talk about his defensive liability, whatever, but he's one of the best offensive big men in the league, and there's no question about that. And trading him for Julius Randle, somebody who does shrink in the playoffs consistently. I don't know how you make that trade if you're Minnesota, but I digress. I think the Knicks are looking good. They're only 2 games behind the Celtics right now. The Celtics, we'll talk about them in a little bit. They've been playing a little lazy recently. But, to your point about Wemby, I think Wemby is great. He's definitely super exciting. I think the cool thing about Wemby is that he's adjusting to what the NBA is now. I mean, Giannis still hasn't developed a 3-point shot, and Wemby's came in, and people want to complain, oh, the 7'5" guy's taking 3-pointers. Yeah, that's exciting. Why do I want, pick a lane? Like, if you're going to, complain about Giannis running and dunking, but then complain about Wemby developing a 3-point shot, pick what you want to complain about. I'll complain about Giannis running and dunking because I don't think that's fun. I don't think that's fun when a big guy just runs over people and dunks the ball. I think it's cool when a big man develops a shot to, play the game that the NBA is transitioning to. So I don't think he's top 10 yet. He's won I don't think he's won 40 games yet in his career, and it's been almost a year and a half. So I think if you want to get into the top 10, you have to I don't know, at least win a little bit more. I'm not expecting a big playoff push from him with that roster, but I think it's I think with everybody, if you're not LeBron James in your first 2 years, like then you're not going to be top 10. I think that's how the NBA is now.
Yeah, definitely nailed it on the guys there. I was like, I watched the condensed version of the Spurs, and I'm like, just looking at the box score now. Jeremy Sohan is the only one, also outside of Wemby with over 20 points with 21. Actually, no one else had more than 15. Actually, Chris Paul with 15 and 13 and 7. Sorry. So yeah, Matt said, as long as they get a second star. I definitely agree with the second star part, but I also think they don't necessarily need that. I think they just need to make some minor upgrades at like just certain margins, which I definitely think they will eventually. So I don't think that the Spurs are a threat to win the playoff series yet this year, but however, next year will be next year once the Wemby develops more and they improve on the margins, I think they'll definitely be a threat to win a playoff series or two. But going back to the Knicks, I agreed with what you said about the Knicks. Cat completely opens up a plethora of options on them. Like opens up at least another 2-3 pages in the playbook for them. As great as Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo were, Cat was which we'll talk about the Wolves in a second. Cat's the one that opens up the playbook, and I'm surprised that neither of us had brought it up. The guy that they traded 5 first-round picks for, Mikal Bridges, dropped 41. With 4 assists last night, 17 of 25 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. Mm-hmm. He's been a disappointment this year, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But however, as of late, he's been much better, and he's been playing like a guy who you would trade 5 first-round picks for. I don't think that trade's ever going to live up to the hype unless they win a title, which I don't think they will, unless we see some major development from either someone young or they just completely change up their scheme. Just because. Unless your team really has to have like a true rare identity if you want to win a championship without having a top 10 player, which nobody on the Knicks is a top 10 player at this point. So, but at the very least, the Knicks team is a very exciting team for sure. And it's going to be very interesting to say the least how they come and develop. But I think John mentioned that they're only 2 games behind the Celtics now, 6 games behind the Cavs for first. So, I'm someone who's criticized the Knicks a ton. I've said that they're third at best. I definitely, I 100% think there's depending on how the standings line up, they can definitely make the conference finals. I think they can beat anyone in the playoff series outside of the Celtics. But we'll dive into the Celtics later, though. We'll move on to the team that John touched on a little bit with the Wolves versus the Mavs. The Wolves had a big lead for most of the game, and then Kyrie Irving went off for the second half. To kind of very close. I think they brought it within 2 at one point. So I think Luka got injured in the somewhere in the second quarter. And we'll talk about the Mavs. We'll talk about the Mavs for the next couple weeks in a little bit, but I want to talk about the actual game for now. But Anthony Edwards finished with 26 points, 28 rebounds, 5 assists, while shooting 11 of 24 from the field. That comes with 4-7-3 with 0 free throws. So I trash him a ton, but at the hoops there for man. So bravo to him there. But I don't know what to take away from this Wolves team because. Yeah, obviously we know that Ant has the potential to be in a big playoff series. We've seen him come through big. Like I think he averaged 26. It was like something like 26, 27, 8 and 8 for the whole playoff run last year, which is elite. I don't know how sustainable that's going to be again this year. But as we're looking at now, I think the Wolves. I'm looking at the standings now. They're currently 9th in the West. Tied for 8th and 9th in the West with the Suns, a game and a half behind the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Clippers, who are tied for 5th, 6th, and 7th. So, Matt, what do you take away in the Wolves?
Coming into the season, I thought the Wolves were the second best team to the Thunder. I thought the fit of Julius Randle and DiVincenzo was going to be more fluent at this point. It's a little bit concerning that it still feels a little awkward when they're on the floor. Dante DiVincenzo has been such a disappointment this year. I know a lot of people, I see a lot of clips on Twitter about Julius Randle's effort, which has always been a question mark. But Dante DiVincenzo is averaging less than 8 points a game this year. I'm pulling up his splits right now. He hasn't shot the 3 ball well at all. I'm pulling it up now. He's shooting 30. It's a little higher now. It's 33.5%, but that's compared to 40 last year, 40 on 8.5 attempts last year compared to 33 this year on 6 attempts. And I also need more production from just the bench as a whole. I feel like I haven't really been hearing a lot of Naz Reid, NAW, Neil Alexander Walker hasn't been that great either. Rob Dillingham, their draft pick, doesn't really get any minutes. I wonder why, because Mike Conley is a little old. I don't think this team wins a championship until they have a real point guard. I think to unlock Julius Randle, you need a real point guard. You saw that with the Knicks. Until they got Jalen Brunson, his flaws were easily shown against like any serious team or any team in the playoffs. And they got Brunson, and he played way better. There's way more space. I don't think Mike Conley at this point in the career can lead a team to a championship. Maybe they have that in Rob Dillingham if they give him more minutes or in the next year or two. But I think to become a true contender, they need a real point guard.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think I touched on it a little bit more before. The trade doesn't make any sense to me, but I will take it kind of a step further. And while Ant played well, and I think has been playing well this year, like, you want to be in conversations with, Giannis, Jokic, even Tatum, like these like top 5 guys. Like, maybe you need to do a little bit more, and it's hard to. It's like kind of like a crappy narrative to put on him, but like that's what the narrative is for those type of players. When your team is underperforming, like if you want the privilege of being that top 5 superstar, then that's what you have to take on. And all these guys, Giannis, Tatum, like those guys have consistently gotten slandered when their team is playing poorly, even if they're playing well in itself. But I think that it's almost not fair because, again, that trade just derailed them. It didn't make any sense. And Matt, you touched on Dante DiVincenzo. He, I don't know if the reports were correct or if he just wanted a bigger role than he had in New York. But you got that bigger role, pal, and you're not doing anything with it. So I think they either need to make a big change over there. I don't think that this core is going to really make any waves.
Yeah. The more I think about it, like the more I think that this trade was never about getting more depth for Karl-Anthony Towns. It was getting off of Cat's salary for to give like more flexibility around building around Ant, which in theory makes sense. But I just think that Cat is just so above and beyond Julius Randle as a player, which I know some people would have disagreed with last year. But I think I think given that Cat's just a much better much better shooter and threat in the paint, like as much as Randall's like better with the ball in his hands and everything, like he has like more like a deeper bag as they say. The fact that Cat's just like so much better shooter, and Randall isn't that much of a difference maker on defense, to where like Cat was able to run the floor and he was able to like guard centers, to where Gobert was able to be that rumor. The Wolves don't have that type of flexibility anymore. So like as much as people can say like they were given more flexibility both with the books and with the style of play, it was mostly with the books, I think, because their ceiling was just like, and I said at the night out, like their ceiling just plummeted in my opinion after they traded for Randall instead of Cats. Like, who knows? Like maybe after, I don't even know. I don't even know if Randall's a free agent after this year or next year. I think it's after next year.
I think it might be this year, Chris.
I think it is this year actually, because it was a 3-year contract, I think. So yeah, I think it was after this year. So like after this year, maybe like we see the Wolves make like another move to get rid of Randall, or even like get some pieces back, open up more to get more pieces back. So but yeah, I definitely agree with John that at the end of the day, it does fall under your star, especially when you're given all the props in the world during the playoffs. You have to deliver on that, which Ant has not done that, in my opinion.
Chris, before we move on, you were talking about like to fit the play style of Ant. I think a 7-foot guy that can shoot from 35 feet away like totally fits his play style. I thought they really had something in the duo of Cat and Ant. And I get they want him off the books and stuff like that. Like the second apron kind of trashes teams' futures in a way, but I don't know. They were like right there. Like they were. It was Game 7, right? They lost last year. Like
no, they lost. No, it was 5 to the Mavs. It was a 5 or 6. Yeah, it was 5 or 6.
Yeah,
maybe it was 6. Maybe it was 6. Yeah.
But I don't know. They were right there. Like, I don't know how you just let your second best guy, who's a homegrown guy that was there for 9 years, just let him go. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go back. Yeah, we'll go back. Yeah, but like, yeah, we'll go back to the second. But yeah, like now let's go to the Mavs actually because yeah, the Wolves were up big for most of the game, and part of that in being Luka got injured again. I kind of I never apologized or backed down on my take about the Mavs because I still believe that that their floor is first round exits, and I don't know how long Luke's gonna be out for. When they say a stretch of time, usually means means like 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm thinking minimum 2 weeks, which means Luka is gonna be all but guaranteed to be eliminated from the All NBA team selection, if I'm not mistaken, which is wild. But I'm not backing down. Like I still believe in that rule. But I just don't know what to expect from the Mavs because they were playing awesome without him for those couple weeks. But as of now, I keep on looking back at the standings. They are currently fourth in the West, probably. Fourth in the West, 2 games ahead of them. Yeah, so 2 games ahead of the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Clippers for the 7th seed, and then I guess 3.5. So yeah, they have enough. They have like enough of a cushion for to stay in the playing tournament for sure. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a contender, you have to be consistent. And as even though the Mavs showed us last year that they were able to make the finals last year, as the 5 seed, that doesn't happen too often. We saw it with the Heat kind of twice actually, because in 2020 they made the finals as the 5 seed, and then the year after that they were the 6 seed that got swept by the Bucks in the first round, and then 2022 happened, or 2023, and they made the finals as the 8th seed, and then they came back as the 8th seed the year after, and they lost in 5 to the Celtics. So yeah, even if the Mavs finish as because they're not, I don't think they're going to finish as high as the 4 seed. I think it'll be 4, 5, 6. I think they're going to fall in that range unless Luka comes back after 2 weeks and they just go on a massive run. But I don't know what to expect from the Mavs this year. But their playoff ceiling is as high as anyone else, but also their playoff floor is as low as everyone else as well.
Yeah, Chris, that's a very good point. Like you said, they have been. Like when Luka was out, they played pretty well without him, and also recently they've been playing pretty good basketball. I believe they're 7-3 in their last 10. That's counting yesterday. I'm just pulling up the league's defensive ratings. They're 11 in defensive rating, which I thought would be a little bit lower, but I don't know. I think in a playoff series, their flaws. We say it every time the Mavs get brought up. Their flaws are still pretty prevalent. Like if Kyrie, Luka, and Klay Thompson are on the floor together, I don't care how good your defensive front court is. That's a huge issue. I mean, Kyrie Irving took over a game yesterday, but I don't know. I think their mindset is that they just have to float in, like you said, the 4, 5, or 6 realm, because last year they were the 5 seed and made the finals. But I think it's gonna be tougher this year. You know, the Thunder have more experience. The Grizzlies look like they're healthy and they're playing very good basketball. The Rockets have another year of experience under their belt. So I think there are a lot of teams that are just better than them in the West, especially if Luka misses an extended amount of period of time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not that high on the Mavericks.
Yeah, you guys touched on everything about.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
The Mavericks. Yeah.
That's two very interesting teams to where the Wolves and the Mavs, both of them have the chance to they have the pedigree and the the pedigree and the overall star power as of now to win a finals, but it seems like everything has to go their way to do so. And then the part of the episode we've been dreading the most, talking about the Sixers beating the Celtics last night, which I'm not going to lie to you and say that I wasn't surprised, because I was surprised. I really thought the Celtics were going to win yesterday, but based on the way that things been going for the Celtics lately, they just haven't been playing well. They're as everyone in the agenda, 3-4 in their last 7. 3-4 in the last 7. Jaylen Brown hasn't looked great. Peyton Pritchard has been slipping a little bit. Drew Holiday is clearly he's been injured, but also just clearly hasn't been trying a ton. I don't want to say trying a ton, but just clearly not going all out like he does in the playoffs. Porzingis hurt again, so which I'm not making excuses, but however, if like all those things are happening to where like a bunch of players are slumping, a couple of them are injured, the fact that they're still second in the East, and most people would still take them ahead of the Cavs in a playoff series, or even probably ahead of the Thunder, is a pretty good sign. But still, the Celtics never went on as bad a streak as they did last year. They won 4-3 a couple of times, but they never won 3-4. So my take is that it's pretty disappointing as of now. But hopefully this is their rough streak. But because I would say my panic meter, I'd say it's probably like a 3.5. I would say like a 4. I think 4 would be a little too high, but but yeah, I'd say 3.5. I don't know. What are your takes, John?
Yeah, my panic meter right now is at a 0, and it's going to remain that way for the rest of the season. I think when you win a championship in the fashion that the Celtics did, and you bring everybody back, you have the privilege, and you've earned that right to not worry too much when you go through a stretch. It's a long season, and I think that while they didn't really have a stretch as bad as this, it's we're talking about a stretch of 3-4 games. So, and I think a lot of guys are banged up, and they're trying to just find their way. I think they'll be fine. I think that they are playing a little lazy, and I think as a Celtics fan, you can sit here and be frustrated, right? And I'm frustrated, but I'm not concerned. It's one of those things where, and I know, I mean, like, it's just one of those things, like, and I feel like every team can go back and look at like every one of their losses and be like, oh, well, this happened, or like this, this person was out. But like, I feel like a lot of their losses, they do have somebody out, and they're a talented enough team where, most of the time they can make up for that. But, yeah, I'm not really concerned at all. I think, it's December when Joel Embiid is waving to a crowd because A, he's playing, and B, he actually won. So I think that until they show, and really it just comes down to coming into June, and until they show that they're not going to show up in June, I'm not really going to be too concerned. And I think that's just like the feeling you get after they won a championship last year.
Yeah, John, I think the frustrated but not concerned is exactly how I'm feeling. Over the last 3 games in the fourth quarter, their offensive rating is 106 and their defensive rating is 135. That's a net rating of -28. That and their true shooting is 53% in that fourth quarter. They've been playing sloppy offense, and they haven't been defending at all in the fourth quarter. And shockingly, that's pretty important. They've also lost more home games this year than they did all last year, which, I mean, I think they're 11-5 at home this year, which is pretty good. That just shows you how amazing last season was. So yeah, just frustrated. I feel like they're just playing lazy at points. I don't know. Kristaps Porzingis clearly isn't healthy, so don't play him until he's fully healthy.
Stop playing him.
Like it's so annoying seeing him come in, limp around, and then leave in the second quarter. Like, just don't play him. Just let him get healthy and let him come back in February or March or April. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard, tough game for him yesterday, but I would rather have these games happen in December and in January than them happen in May and June. But Chris, I don't know if we were going to touch on the Sixers at all, but I think Caleb Martin was put on this earth just to torture the Celtics. I think I saw a stat that him and Embiid were shooting like 27% from 3 collectively for the season. And then yesterday he shot 7 of 9 from 3. That's just ridiculous. It's so annoying. Like, you just know it's coming, and he was put on this earth just to kill the Celtics.
11 of 14 from 3 between those two guys yesterday.
Caleb Martin was 8 of 11. He made 8 threes, not 7.
No, he was 8-11 from the field. He was 7-9
from 3. Okay, cool.
No, Embiid and Caleb were 11-15 combined. That's what I meant. It's just one of those things because you watch the game. It's one of those things where like you look at the Sixers in the past and say like they really haven't changed much to where because I'm still not of the Sixers, still not really afraid of the Sixers at all because of who they are, and like I still don't believe in Joel Embiid at all in the playoffs.
Is it because they're 11-17 this year?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but fully excuse me, fully healthy. I'm taking them ahead of most of the teams. Not most teams, like 3 of the 4 teams ahead of them. Who was ahead of them? They're a better team than the Pistons, the Bulls, the Pacers, and I guess like the line is maybe the Hawks. But after that, like it's just an annoying loss at the end of the day. Yeah, Caleb Martin's annoying, Joel Embiid's annoying. Paul George sucked last night, but he's also annoying. But
Tyrese Maxey is a stud too.
he's very good.
Last night. He's so good, and he didn't sweat. John, guy never sweats.
He never sweats. Yeah,
Tyrese Maxey never sweats.
Yeah, but yeah, Celtics next couple of games. What they got? They got the Pacers tomorrow night. Oh, that's great. Yeah, they always play great against the Pacers. And yeah, Pacers never give them a hard time. Then
Chris,
Sunday
what do you think the Sixers ceiling?
They got the Pacers. Matt, say that again.
I said, what do you think the Sixers ceiling is? I didn't know you were talking. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, yeah, Sixers ceiling. If they finish as the 7th seed and they match up with I don't know, like I don't even know. Yeah, like if they're they've dug themselves in too deep of a hole. Like if they climb up to like this, if the Heat trade Jimmy Butler and then fall off, and the Sixers find a way to climb up to the 6th seed and they match up with an injured Magic team, then maybe they can win a playoff series, but probably not. What did Drew just said? That's making you laugh. Finals, haha. I don't know, but we know that. But it's the fact still remains that they have to go 29-2 in order for them to surpass the 40-20 rule. So it's looking unlikely, Drew. I hate to break it to you. By the way, Drew, I've been reading your stuff in primetime, so very very good stuff so far. I haven't done my power rankings lately, so I got to catch up to that soon. Yeah, but the Celtics are playing the Pacers on Friday and on Sunday, so we'd love to see them. Love that, but yeah, like it would be good if they were able to put up a good one against us. But then they got New Year's Eve. They're also playing the Raptors, so that could also be a good moral victory if they're able to win that. Excuse me. So, okay, yeah. Now we can move on to the night games. So, the Lakers beat the Warriors last night, and I haven't really seen anything this morning, but I'm waiting for the casuals of the world to start complaining about how LeBron and Steph are carrying the NBA and how they haven't been able to pass off a star yet. Which part of that's true. LeBron and Curry, it feels like the two of them have been carrying the ratings for the past decade now. But however, hopefully last night was yesterday was like a good transition period. But I don't know what to make of this game, just because I don't really respect either team. Both of them had had relatively hot starts. The Warriors did have a harder starts, and the Lakers slipped a little bit, got hot, have slipped a little bit the past couple of games. Big win yesterday. I just don't respect either. I don't respect either team at all. Between the two teams, they have 3 top 10 players probably, but outside of that, I don't believe in them. But yeah, Matt, what are your takeaways on these?
So to be totally honest, I didn't watch a ton of this game until the end of it, and then when we were driving home from Staten Island, Chris, I was watching it in the car. Crazy ending. We got a Mike Breen double bang. I believe that's only the 8th or 9th time in his career that he's done that with the Curry 3. The Lakers were up 3 and Curry caught the ball. They didn't really have a chance to foul, but there was a clip in the offseason of LeBron and JJ when they were doing their pod. And they were saying that they were going to foul every time. They end up not fouling, and then it almost bit them in the ass. But then Lakers came down and Reeves had a nice move and a layup to win the game for them. But like you were saying, none of these teams are really threats to come out of the West or really to win a playoff series, if we're being totally honest. The Lakers, I just don't see it with them. I mean, they have LeBron and AD. They're getting old, but I don't see it with them. They really don't have a true third star. Austin Reeves is awesome, but not awesome. Austin Reeves is a solid player, but he's not a third star on a playoff team that can make a deep run. And the Warriors, I thought the Warriors' hot start was more sustainable because it was really coming on the defensive side. That's kind of slipped in the past couple games, and the Buddy Hield MVP talks have fallen off a cliff. The Buddy Hield experience is in full effect now, where he's playing awful. Kind of just what happens. He plays great, and then people are like, why doesn't this guy play more? And then he shoots himself out of games, and that feels like that's in full effect. But yeah, I don't see either of these teams winning a playoff series.
Yeah, as you guys mentioned, I was doing a lot of driving yesterday, so I watched 0% of this game live. Did a little box score watching and highlight watching when I was laying in bed last night. So I'm not going to comment too much on it because I do not know ball when it comes to this game. But I saw a clip about Austin Reeves talking about his kind of late game heroics and how his family was back home watching him, and his brother was in Germany watching with his wife, and it was a nice. It seemed like a nice moment. He seemed like a nice guy, and kind of just seemed like he was very appreciative of where he was right now. But which I liked. But back to just the overall teams, I don't think they really pose a threat, and I think the NBA putting LeBron versus Steph. I mean, you know why they did that, right? I mean, if you took away the names of the teams and just said like, okay, we're gonna have the, what is it, the 6 seed versus the 10 seed in the West, nobody was really gonna get too excited about it. So you know what the NBA is doing with that, the big names sell, but not really much else to say.
For sure. Yeah, the 5 through the 10 seeders are going to be very interesting for the next few weeks. The Nuggets 5 through 10 is Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Wolves, Warriors, and then Spurs are 11. All separated within 2 games. So definitely going to be a very fun thing to watch as things go the next couple weeks. But yeah, I guess I should say that for the end, but yeah, because like there are two more of those teams that I just mentioned played. The Suns played the Nuggets. The Suns won by 10, and again, I got home. Yeah, like I got home last night. I was exhausted. I watched all the condensed versions of these games, but outside of that, nothing really. But the Suns won by 10. The Suns are a completely different team without KD. They were awesome to start, awful when he stepped out, and now again, even without Devin Booker, the Suns are looking like a pretty good team. So I don't know what you can't really rely on Kevin Durant to stay healthy. But that being said, if you get him for a full playoff run and Devin Booker for a full playoff run, I think the Suns can beat most of the teams in the West outside of the Thunder because talk about their defense all you want. All the 2 other best teams in the West, the Grizzlies and the Rockets, they don't really have great offenses, and then everyone else after that, the Mavs don't. The Mavs structure on defense is good, but you're telling me that either Beal, Booker, or Durant can't target one of the three guard defenders in Kyrie, Luka, and Clay? I think they absolutely can. Yeah. That's my takeaways on the Suns. But yeah, anything from you, Matt?
My biggest takeaway this game was not really on the Suns side. You did say that the Suns are clearly just a different team when Kevin Durant's on the floor. I don't even think he shot well yesterday. My phone is bugging out right now, so I can't pull up the box score, but I believe it was under 40%. And
9 for 26, 34%.
Yeah,
over 5 and 3. Yep.
And it's just like they just like feel like they are a different team. I know Tyus Jones and Bradley Beal had good games too. But my biggest takeaway was the Nuggets. You see Nikola Jokic only had 2 assists. And that's because the Nuggets only made, I think, 8 threes. That's kind of been their biggest problem all year is just, they really can't shoot the 3 ball. And if you take away Jokic's playmaking and really force him to score the ball more, it's a pretty easy team to beat. So yeah, I'm not as high on the Suns as you are, Chris. I want to see them play more games together, and that's kind of been the biggest issue for the past 3 years or past 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not taking massive stock into the Suns, into this win for the Suns. I do think they could win a playoff series if they have the correct matchup, but I don't think they could make the Western Conference Finals.
I don't think it's likely that they'll make the conference finals, but yeah, like it's one of those things where like I think they would have to finish as the 4 or the 5, probably in the 6 seed this one because if they finish as the 4 or the 5 seed, they'd have to play the Thunder. So like if they finish as the 6 seed and then play either the Rockets or the Grizzlies and then just expose their experience or like glaring weaknesses they could, but probably not.
I like the Suns. I think they have an interesting roster. What's funny? I'd probably like the Suns more if they didn't have Bradley Beal. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying just take him off and they're better, but like if you had like whatever you're paying Bradley Beal, like in the aggregate of like depth pieces and like shooters and defenders, like I think the Suns are so much far better off. But like you said, I think if they're going to go on like some kind of a playoff run, it all depends on the matchup, right? Like I think they could definitely expose the Rockets or the Grizzlies in a way, just with like experience and pedigree, I guess, and stuff. But I think I do like watching the Suns. I think it's just because I think watching Kevin Durant is always really fun. But I think that trade for Bradley Beal is I don't know. It's we've talked about it at like nauseum here. But yeah,
they're giving up 114.6 points a game. There are 3 teams in the West that give up more points a game, and it's the 13th, 14th, and 15th seeds: the Trailblazers, Jazz, and Pelicans. I don't think you can make a deep run or even win a playoff series if you have the 4th worst defense in your division or in your conference. I mean, I want to see, does anybody even give up more points in the East? The Wizards and the Raptors do. And then the Pistons give up the same amount of points. Oh, and the Bulls and all right, there's a lot more teams in the East that give up more points. But still, to have the 4th highest points against you in your conference is a huge red flag. They are playing better. I know KD missed a little amount of time, but I don't know. Their defense scares me. And you need defense to win a playoff series.
Pelicans mentioned Zion Williamson. Go to work. Stop sitting on the bench in street clothes laughing. You were the biggest prospect since LeBron James, and you're just sitting on the bench. Go to work. Stop talking to all these Twitter honeys and getting yourself into trouble.
He's one of the reasons that the NBA is like so reluctant to put to shine a light on some of these young stars. Between Zion, Ja, and I get to a lesser extent ants, but like those 3 guys are just idiots in their own ways, and and it's why they keep on going back to LeBron, Steph, and KD because like they're just 3 grown-ups who are who are like they're not reliable in the sense of playing a lot of games, but they're reliable in the sense of they don't ever run into trouble, any kind of trouble. So, which I don't know, maybe you could shed some more light on Jason Tatum then. But as you're next, he's not really young, but he could be the face of the NBA if you weren't so anti-Boston. But I digress. Okay, so and we'll talk one more basketball thing. And I wish I had my own laptop, which this will be the last episode I'll be doing this off our mother's laptop because I do plan on buying a laptop probably sometime tomorrow afternoon, right before work. Looking forward to that.
What kind are you going with?
What was that?
What kind are you going with?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna go to Best Buy and I'm gonna lay out all my options. Maybe almost definitely not a Mac because those are annoying, but we'll see. But we'll see.
I'm a big Mac guy.
You are?
You should have. Who did Aaron have you for Secret Santa?
Yeah.
Should have asked her for one.
Should have asked her for one. Yeah. But like if I did have my own laptop, I'd be sharing my pictures because last week with Olivia, she on our New York trip, she was generous enough to let me walk around the NBA store for a solid 40 minutes. So that took some very cool pictures and videos of some very cool jerseys. Took a very nice picture of myself with George Mikan on the elevator. On the picture, the elevator was very cool. Some pictures in front of the Celtics. A picture of the Celtics title the night they won the championship with like an autograph of every single player on the team. I forgot how much it cost. It cost like a lot of money though. So yeah, I wasn't able to buy any of those for you guys. Even if I did have John's Secret Santa. So like I wasn't going to buy that for your Secret Santa, but had to settle with the speaker and the golf kit. But so but that was an awesome day. So we did exchange. Love it. So we did exchange. So she spent 40 minutes in the NBA store while I spent about like I don't know how long I was there for. It was the end of the day before, but like half an hour in the American Girl Doll store. So it was a very nice trade off. So for for the last segment of the show, we will be talking about 2024 and our favorite memories from this year. 2024 was one hell of a year for us. The Celtics won the finals. The Mets won a massive you could say it was a Cinderella run because it was towards no one was really expecting them to be this great going into the year. They had some great off-season free agency moves so far. Not really much to say about the Giants. However, we can. I don't know if any of you are going to have that on your list, but we will. But we will be breaking down
You're
our.
serious.
What was that?
I said, "Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, haha, yeah,
Do not have anything for the Giants."
yeah. So we will be breaking down our top 10 favorite moments of the 2024 season. So this is ranging from January 1st of 2024 all the way up to today's December 26th. We're imagining that nothing's going to happen from today up until December 31st. We're imagining that nothing's going to happen between then. That's going to be where we do this. So we're going to be going over our top 10 moments. So I think we're going to do we're going to each give our 10. We're each gonna give our 10, then we're each give our 9, and then we're just gonna go count down to 1. There's gonna be some overlap, which is fine, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So, Matt, why don't you? Okay, yeah, we didn't really give us that criteria, which I feel like is gonna make this more fun. Just like we each took it our own way. So, Matt, why don't you just give your first the first moment on your list?
Matt, before you go, I have a question, and this will determine if you guys are professional list makers, like our host AAH here. Do you have honorable mentions here?
I don't, but like I don't, but I think that we should do those at maybe. Oh, damn it. I feel like we usually do this towards the end, but I don't.
Yeah, no. Towards the end, I'm just saying in general.
I didn't add any honorable mentions. No.
Okay, I have a few. Maybe we can just bounce. You can bounce off mine.
Sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I have
Yeah,
a couple,
we can add those at the end.
I have a couple in the in my head, but number 10, I have Derek White's block on PJ Washington in Game 2 to seal the deal. Shout out Andrew Sexton, who was in attendance. Yeah, awesome game and awesome moment.
Blocked by White, Mike Breen.
John, yours number 10.
Oh, we're doing it like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My number 10 is, and I split this up. Most of these are Celtics. Like many of them are Celtics.
Yeah,
I
sure.
have a handful of Mets, but 0 Giants. I have at number 10, Juan Soto signs with the Mets. I think it's a huge moment in the franchise, but I don't think it's as high up my list just because, it's a signing. It wasn't like a moment for me where like, I don't know how it pans out. I'm, almost sure it's going to pan out great because he's awesome, but it wasn't something where it's a different thing, but I have number 10, Juan Soto signs with the Mets.
That's on my list too. It's number 6 actually for me, but
let's not do that the rest of the list late. Yeah, like we can. Yeah, let's give our list. We can spoil at the end. Okay. So my number 10. I wanted to have some type of versatility there, so I did have the block by Ford Wheaton against the Seahawks for the Giants to seal off one of their 2 wins for the year. They still have the number 1 pick, so this win is not going to screw over their chances of getting a Drake May or a Drake May or what's his name, Jaden Daniels, but we still love the Giants, even though they don't love us. I wanted to add some versatility. That's why they're number 10. There's a reason I didn't have them too high. Okay, fine. Judge me all you want, but like I want to.
They don't deserve a top 10 spot.
Fine.
That's the disgusting.
Fine. It's last time I'm talking about football on the show. All right. Yeah, we can go to
I can think of 10 regular season Celtic moments that from this year that have been better than that block.
Not this year. No, not this year.
So
right, Matt, what's your number 9? No, not
all right.
now.
So this is a kind of as a whole. If you want me to make it one moment, I have a specific play, but I have Kristaps Porzingis first quarter in Game 1 versus the Mavericks.
Love that. Yeah, like I'm not going to tell you where it was, but like I do have something similar, and I do have that specific moments, and we'll go and I'll dive into that later. But
I just think the overall, he was injured, came back. I think he checked in, everyone went crazy. Then I think, what do you have, 8 points in the first quarter,
something like that.
Yeah. But it's really awesome to watch.
I have in my 9 spot, I have Tatum's dagger 3 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Where they kicked it out to him, he pump faked, did a little sidestep, and hit the 3. A lot of slander for Tatum after that game. I know he had a really awful game, 36, 12, and 4. Really, really struggled out there, and scored 10 points in overtime. So really upset he had that kind of game. But He also averaged 30 and 10 in the entire series and should have won Eastern Conference MVP, but I digress.
I just look back on that series so much, and just the amount of stupidity that was going on in every single talk person's head, including some of my friends on TikTok. They were just saying some of the dumbest things ever. Like nothing will be dumber than them zooming in on Jason Tatum smiling about Jaylen Brown winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP, saying like, "Oh, he looks upset." He was smiling, and just like, and then you say he averages 36, he averaged like 30 something, 30, 12, and whatever, and they said it was bad. Like it was just. I'm still perplexed about how dumb people were about that series. But my number 9 is my one non-Celtics and Giants moments. It's the Freddie Freeman walk-off grand slam against the Yankees, because fuck the Yankees. That's why. It's like I know we try to stick to fandom here, but however, we do have to put on our hater caps on sometimes, and I cannot stand the Yankees and watching Freddie Freeman like after destroying the Mets a couple of times, watching him destroy the Yankees in real time was pretty awesome to see. So that's why I have him at number 9.
How you want to take that?
Yeah, I disagree, Chris.
Why?
It's not my
Who
top
cares?
10.
What do you mean, who
it's
cares?
A team that eliminated us is in your top 10.
It's a team that eliminated the Yankees.
So, like, you can't think of 10 better moments or 9 better moments than that.
This isn't
I
the
thought of
Celtics.
15.
What was that?
I thought of 15.
This isn't a Celtics Mets list, guys. This is an all of sports moment list, and I want to include some type of versatility. Like I said, there's not much
It's
versatility.
your sports moments.
Yes,
It's your
correct.
Sports teams that I care about.
Fine.
Why are you thinking of versatility when it's your favorite moments for the year? All right. My number 8 is Drew Holiday game winning steal versus the Pacers. They were up 1. He stole the ball to confirm the game 3 win, putting them up 3-0 in the series, which basically guaranteed them to a finals berth.
Great. Yeah, that's a great one.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Mhm.
So my number 8 is September 29th when the Buccaneers beat the Eagles, because I don't like the Eagles. So no, I'm just kidding. My number 8 is Jaylen Brown mid-range with a minute left in game 3. The vibes were turning there, and you know the Mavs were really making a push, and if he doesn't hit that shot, they could go on to win, and the whole series is totally different with momentum and everything like that. But huge make from him and huge series from him.
When I'm going back to that series and showing my kids what happened in that series, I'm going to edit out the parts where Al Horford got the rebound and then dribbled it all the way down to the corner, and then all the way down to the corner, and just turned it over at the end. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen him do. And up there is one of the dumbest sports moments I've seen from the guy with one of the highest basketball IQs of all time. So
I was insane.
I was like, I was frozen. I'm like, what just happened? Oh my god. I'm not sure if this is going to be on either list, or probably one at this point because it's pretty high. But I do have the Mets' first win of the season, which was a walk-off home run by Pete Alonso against the Tigers after, I believe it was either a rain delay or it was like something was up with it. But yeah, Pete Alonso hit a walk-off home run. It was the Mets' first win of the season, and it wasn't even close to being Pete Alonso's best moment as from that year. So hoping that Pete Alonso signs back with the Mets soon. But yeah, that's my number 8 moment for the year.
Finally got a Mets moment on there. Way to be.
I thought that Tyrone Taylor walked it off. I think Alonso hit a home run to tie it.
That's probably what it is. Hang on. So this was April of. When you're probably right, honestly. I was just checking. I'm double checking right now. Box 9th inning. Pete hit a home run. Yeah. It was Taylor that walked it off there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Very good.
Good moment, Chris. Good moment.
Thank you.
Yes.
We got it.
Is it my number 7 now?
Yeah.
7.
I'm assuming this is going to be on your guys' list too. This is the Jaylen Brown 3, the pump fake on Pascal Siakam, then hit the 3 to force overtime in game 1 versus the Pacers. Totally changed the whole vibe of the series.
At 7?
Yeah.
I
It
think
was
I
a
might
pretty
be
good year.
or something.
Pretty good sports year for us.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good year. Yeah.
But yeah, that totally changed the whole vibe of the series. The Pacers kind of gave away that game, which
Thank
you
you
know,
for that. Yeah.
yeah, they had to win one of the first two, and the Celtics had to win both of the first two, and it's a pretty big game to lose.
For my number 7, I think this one goes untalked about enough, and I think or not talked about enough. And I think it is just like a combination of a clutch play and like just seeing in real time a player take another step in like their playmaking ability. Tatum's behind the back pass to Horford in game 3 of the Indiana series. They were down 111 to 106 with 119 remaining. That pass, he's in the middle of the key and he throws it behind the back, one bounce to Horford, perfect pass in the corner, hits the 3, makes it 111 to 109. And we can talk about a little bit more about the ending of that game, but what an awesome game. And you could really see Tatum probably 3 years ago goes up with that and looks for a foul and misses the layup, and the whole game's different.
Yep.
But what a clutch play that had to be made from two of the most clutch players on the Celtics.
Yep. And my number 7 is similar to Matt's number 9. It was it's Porzingis' first quarter, but however, I do have the more specific play, and it's the Tatum turned the ball over, and Josh Green drove down. Mike Britton said, "Here comes Green, one man to beat," but it's a 7-footer. Porzingis, but as he jumped up, blocked it right away. So, unreal call, unreal. Like that's where we knew that KP was back. It was only for a short time, but it's unbelievable. Like it was one of the. I'm not going to say dominant, but it was one of the most unreal first quarters I've ever seen from a player, and just one of the most iconic things I've ever seen.
It's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
My number 6, we're number 6, right?
We are number 6.
Is Juan Soto signing. I might think about this now. I might have that, like you said, John, because we haven't seen it pan out. I might have that at 9 or 10, but maybe it's recency bias. But I was actually driving home from a Winter League basketball game and was on FaceTime with my 3 buddies. So it was truly a great moment when the news broke. So it feels like the turning of the tide for the Mets franchise.
For my number 6, I have Lindor's grand slam against Philly.
Wow.
Lindor was one of the most clutch players in the league, and he does it with such grace and such, I feel like that playoff run with him, he's usually like an animated player, but he was so locked in that he hits a home run, a grand slam, and everyone's going nuts, and he is just stone cold trotting around the bases. And it ultimately led to the Mets advancing to the NLCS, where I think if you asked us how we felt about that in April and May, we'd say you were probably crazy. So it was like almost capping off such a great run that, didn't end up the way they wanted. But like you said, kind of part of the turning of the tide here with this Mets franchise.
That is my number 6 as well, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, number 6. It's my number 6. Wild Howard Grand Slam, which essentially brings your team to the NLCS, didn't crack either me or John's top 5. So yeah, I'd love to see that there. Matt, your number 5.
My number 5 is Francisco Lindor, another home run, but a different one. Was his home run versus the Braves to send them to the playoffs, basically. That game was one of the greatest regular season games I've ever watched. I was watching it in my cubicle at work, and I literally jumped up and down in my cubicle. But yeah, awesome moment from him, even though Gary Cohen kind of messed up that call.
So that was your 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's my 5 too. Wait, did you say home run versus the Braves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my 5 too. I was lucky enough to work from home that day, and it was actually our father's birthday that day. So he came home and we watched. I got to watch the end of that game together. Probably one of the craziest games in Mets history. You'll go back and forth after 7 or 8 innings. knowing that they had to win that game, or at least one of the two. And it was awesome to be able to be home and watching that with Dad, and just again just another example of how clutch Francisco Lindor is. Backs against the wall, and he delivers every single time.
Shout out Edwin Diaz for almost blowing that game.
Multiple times.
Trade him
Multiple times. And my number 5, we talked about the game a couple times. I have the Drew Holiday steal in Game 3. It was it was night before my birthday, so yeah, it was a nice birthday gift that I got. That was nearly a guarantee for the Celtics to make the finals. Whether he was fouling or not, I'll let the audience be the judge of that. But it was a great defense. I trust the guy a ton, but Jason Senf always says it's the great defenders know how to foul with getting away with it. And that's something that Drew Holiday's led it. Like Drew Holiday's not he's not like a fouler, but he knows how to play with his hands enough to play elite defense while also knowing like when to cross the line at times.
Yeah, great pull. We love that play. We were all able to watch it on our living room couch after day drinking at Parker House a little bit.
Right.
So
yeah, that was
one day.
Yeah, and then I went to and you old man hung out back at house right after that. But then I went to Johnny Max and Asbury afterwards to celebrate. Actually,
yeah, not for me that day. Too many Bud Lights.
Yep.
My number 4, it legitimately could be number 1. This is probably one of my favorite moments ever. Not just in sports, just in my life, is the Peyton Pritchard half-court shot to end the third quarter. This was like the moment where we were like, holy shit, the Celtics are going to win the finals. The loudest the living room's ever been in the Driscoll family history. But yeah.
Great one. Mine is my number 4 is Drew stealing the ball, like Chris just mentioned. I remember we were all kind of sitting on the couch and everyone was kind of jumping up, going crazy. But I had my girlfriend asleep on my shoulder, so I had to keep this left side of my body stable, and I was pumping my fist with the other, trying not to move. But just awesome game, awesome day.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, we already said it. Yeah, you guys already said it earlier, but my number 4 is the Lindor home run against the Braves. I was actually driving home at the time because I was trying to get it on my phone. Yeah, it wasn't working. So I'm like, I just got to listen to this on the way home. And yeah, it was part of the loudest. Like it was part I'm someone who doesn't really yell by myself like I do in front of other people, but like by myself it just feels weird. I probably like yelled the loudest I ever have. I was like, let's fucking go. It was like the most hype I've been about a sports moment, like probably when I was alone. So yeah, that's number 4 for me. Matt, you're number 3.
Number 3 was already mentioned. It's the Francisco Lindor Grand Slam versus the Phillies. I think the Peyton Pritchard shot could have been over this, but 2 great reactions from our dad with my number 4 and 3 on this list. I think this is also higher on the list because it was against the Phillies as well. But yeah, great moment.
I actually have to I have to defer to Chris here. I can't remember if it was the Tatum dagger 3 in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals or the JB corner 3, where Dad stepped into a full fist pump in the living room. Probably one of the most electric moments in that living room.
It was probably the dagger 3. I'm assuming.
I think it was the dagger 3 too, because I think JB, we were all just kind of sitting down a little tense because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Because that tied the game, it didn't take the lead. So I'm thinking it was the dagger 3.
So so that's just a little throwback to my number 9 there, which was a very electric moment. But my number 3 is the Jaylen Brown corner 3. Backs against the wall. Jaylen Brown has shown time and time again he's one of the most clutch players in the league, and I think it's still hilarious that the Pacers didn't foul there. But great play draw up by Joe Mazzulla and great pass by Drew Holiday. That's a really tough pass to make across the key into the corner, and obviously awesome shot by Jaylen Brown on his way to winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Yeah, that's my number 3 as well. I just remember watching it. Yeah. Matt was still at school, so it was me, John, and other Matt that were watching the. That sounds very insulting actually to call him other Matt, but Matt McCann. So, yeah, we were watching it in the living room with their dad, and then Aaron was actually watching it. Was actually sitting in the kitchen with us. It was probably the game that I probably cursed the most I'd ever, because Mom wasn't in the room with us. But and I literally said multiple times. I said the Celtics shot 40-something% from threes. That they hit all their threes and they're about to lose this goddamn game. And then Siakam turned the ball over. Brown hit that electric 3, double bang by Green. And they ended up winning in overtime. It was just one of the most unreal games I've ever watched.
It's a great one.
All right, Matt, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Pete Alonso's wild card home run, down 2-0, 2 runners on to put the Mets up 3-2. It's high on my list because all 6 of us were watching it. So very, very electric moment.
Yeah, that's my number 2 as well. Just such an awesome moment. Hands down, my favorite Mets moment of the year. And just don't ask anybody on this podcast what we were saying about Pete Alonso before that, because we were saying some pretty gross stuff.
He might have had the worst game ever before that.
He was for the last month. He was really, really bad, and it's frustrating when he plays bad because he's so goofy. We love him. We hope he's back with the Mets, but that home run, I'd gotten home from work about a half hour prior to, and I was psyched that we were all there for it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and don't ask me if I was begging Pete Alonso to strike out, please, because I didn't want him to ground it. I said, please strike out. Do not ground into a double play. I was not. Yeah, don't ask me if I was wishing for that at all, because that was certainly not the thing I was wishing for. John, is that your 2 as well?
Yes, that's my 2.
Yeah, it is my 2 as well. Yeah.
So I think we're all going to have the same number 1, which is the Celtics winning the finals.
Of course.
Did you have was JB corner 3 your 3 too?
Me?
Yeah.
No, that was
Mine was 7.
Or 7, yeah.
7?
Yeah. I had Soto, Lindor home run
Because
versus
you weren't watching it at 11 Muriel. That's why.
That's definitely.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was watching it with shout out Chris Lopez. But
yeah, I have the Celtics winning the finals at number 1 with if you wanted a specific moment from that game, it would have been the Peyton Pritchard half court shot, because I think it all really resonated with us. And I think Chris mentioned it before that you kind of realized they were winning the championship. And I think you could have a sub moment of that. But that's yeah.
Yep.
It's my 10. I'd like to list off some honorable mentions here.
Please do.
You guys mentioned it already. The KP first quarter. Really awesome way to kick off the NBA Finals. I have the Xavier Tillman 3 in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Came off the bench to replace Kristaps Porzingis. We weren't really sure what he was going to do. He hit a big clutch 3 to put them up double digits, and then I think he played 11 minutes that game, and he played really great defense on that fat slob Luka. And I do have, you guys mentioned, I think it was 9 or 10 on one of your guys' list, but the D White block on PJ Washington. Just so many clutch moments in that season. I will say I do have a Giants moment in my honorable mention, and that is either Sunday, December 29th, or January 5th, because that is the time. If you want to make it a cutoff of 2024, fine. So I'll do 29th, or if not, because either of those days will be the last day or game of this horrible, horrible season. It's been the worst Giants season I've ever watched in my life. I'm so checked out mentally from it.
I hate them.
Honorable mentions.
I have an honorable mention. I'm surprised this wasn't on anybody's list. The banner ceremony against the Knicks, game 1 of the season. That was awesome. We were giving standing ovations for the trainers and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, in 6 months from now, we'll do another draft of the Celtics moments for of the year. Hopefully they turn things around, and I shouldn't even say turn things around, because teams have won as the title as the second seed before. So yeah, winning is going all the way to the first seed. It's not unrealistic, but might be a little too much to ask as of now. But we'll see what happens though. But yeah, 2024 was one hell of a year, and the first full year that we did the podcast together, 57 episodes later. It was episode 3 when we did it together. So, what's that? 55 episodes? Yeah, and like since you guys have been there for every episode. You've been there for majority of them though. So, been one hell of a year, and definitely looking forward to an awesome 2025 as well. Okay, so that's it for today. John Matz, as always, thanks for coming on, joining the show. Reason that we weren't able to do it later is we will be seeing the Mufasa live action movie later tonight. We probably would have been able to make it back on time, but it would have been pushing it. So good thing we were able to get it over with before. But for now, this has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. Make sure to follow All American Hooper on all social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. For TikTok for now. TikTok, I don't know the details of how like what's gonna happen after that, but make sure to subscribe to @SportsFluent on YouTube to catch every episode Thursdays at 8. Also catch all the other shows on Sports Fluent. Fluent and Chill will be live tonight at 8:00. And to close it out like Chilton does, drink water, don't drink and drive, put on suits, and call your mother. Have a great night, everyone.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.